last several years. In fact, I've cared about protecting the planet for longer than I can even remember. I do remember a time, though, when my family was just like everyone else's. We didn't recycle, we didn't conserve water or electricity, and we didn't think or know much about how our actions impacted the planet. My interest in the environment has caused some pretty crazy changes to occur in my family over the past few years. My mom now brags to everyone about how cold we keep it in our house during the winter and how low our electricity bills are. We always had a garden, but now we shop at the farmer's market as well. We've reduced our meat consumption, and we even have our own flock of laying hens in the backyard. And I think it's possible to feel hopeful about the future because my family was pretty standard before all of this. And if we can make these changes, then I think other people have the opportunity as well. And although my life was fairly green before Project Green Challenge, I still gain tons of new knowledge every single day about how I can become even greener. But the biggest thing that I gained through Project Green Challenge was the motivation to share the information with people beyond my family. So the first week of Project Green Challenge, I was spending all day, every day at the International Eco Summit, which is a scientific conference focused on ecology, and it's only held every few years, so I was really lucky that it was only 20 minutes from my university, and I had my research abstract accepted for a poster presentation. My research project is focused on environmental microbiology. I study the chemical triclosan, which Andy Leonard mentioned in the story of cosmetics. It's in tons of consumer products that you can see, and it's especially common in liquid hand soaps. The problem with triclosan is that it's an endocrine disruptor as well as an aquatic toxin, so it's poisonous to fish, algae, and invertebrates. I am looking specifically in the aquatic environment, a river near my school, and I'm isolating bacteria from that environment, and I'm looking to see if there's a correlation between the concentration of triclosan in the water and the percentage of resistant bacteria. So while I was at Eco Summit, I had the opportunity to eat dinner with scientists from a dozen different countries, and I recall sitting across from a Canadian ecologist, and we were having a great discussion, and I was able to answer all of his questions just as my advisor had prepared me to do. But then he asked me a question that I really wasn't expecting at all. He said, "So how has your research impacted your school's soap purchasing policies?" And I was disappointed and ashamed to admit that I hadn't done anything of the sort on my campus. I realized that because I'm educated about this topic, it's my responsibility to initiate change in this area. Sometimes, though, it takes a little bit more than just having information. Sometimes we need a little push to branch out and reach our full potential. And that's what this simple question from a complete stranger, as well as the motivation I gained through Project Green Challenge, has done for me. It's enabled me to do more in my own life, as well as branch out and do things in society as well. I'm pleased to report that if I received this question today, I would be prepared with a solid and respectable answer. My first step was to find out if the soap on our campus actually does contain triclosan, and I was pretty sure that it did because you can see it says antibacterial right on the label, and that's what triclosan is. It's an antibacterial agent. So I knew I had some work to do if it actually did contain triclosan, and to find out, I used the Green Clean Challenge to contact my school's custodial services. I asked both about the soap as well as the cleaners on campus, and I was completely surprised to find out that the cleaners on campus are already Green Seal certified, but the soap is not. So I realized I had some work to do. And I knew that getting changes made on campus was going to take some time. So the first thing that I did was to fill a container with Dr. Bronner soap, which was a prize from Project Green Challenge, and I put it in my dorm's bathroom with a little sign next to it explaining the issue. And based on that, I received a request from the student newspaper for an interview, and then a request from the TV station for an interview, which was really exciting for me because I hadn't really talked to people about what I was doing yet, so it was really cool for me that they were reaching out to find out more. So to begin with, I emailed the service department at school and explained the issue, and I did not receive a reply. So I went over and I talked to them, and the man that I talked to said yes, he had heard about my email, but he didn't want to do anything about it. So from there, I didn't give up. Persistence is another thing that I've learned. And I think that they were really hoping that if they ignored me long enough, that I would go away, but I didn't. And I just found out on Wednesday that based on my meetings with them, they decided to change all the soaps in our bathrooms on campus to Green Seal certified. So I'm really excited that I was able to get that done. And I still wanted to get information out to students beyond the soap issue. So I gathered cleaning products and personal care products with my environmental club, and we put them around campus. We got a couple of different facts from the environmental working group, Skin Deep database, and we provided a link to the story of cosmetics. We put them in bathrooms across campus, and we were hoping that students, faculty, and staff would pick them up, learn a little bit more about the issue. And based on this, we're going to be hosting a Make Your Own Detergent, Laundry Soap and Dish Detergent Day. And this is a flyer that we're posting around campus to invite students to attend that, and we'll be showing the story of cosmetics, and we'll be providing them with free ingredients to make their own things and the recipes so that they can make them again in the future. I came away from the month of October feeling so empowered to live the greenest life possible, and getting the soap change was just the first step. I've also talked to the coordinator for dining services at my school about getting food waste composting on campus, and he's been really interested in this, and we're going to tour a facility in January to learn logistics. I've also branched out and begun interacting in the community. The Take Part Challenge encouraged me to email the Ohio Ecological Food and Farming Association, and because of that email, I found out about the Central Ohio GMO Working Group, which is just starting out, and I was able to go to their second meeting and work with them on brainstorming some ideas for the grassroots effort in Ohio, and I brought a friend with me, and she's going to volunteer as well. Our first step is in January to go into local grocery stores, distribute information, and have conversations with consumers about what genetically modified food is and what it means. And because of Project Green Challenge, I've become involved in this effort, and I don't think that would have happened otherwise. So I'm really glad that I did, because sometimes on campus, it's hard to find people who are like-minded, and being at this meeting, as well as here with all of you at Green U this weekend, is so uplifting and motivating and inspiring for me, because I know that there are other people out there who have the same feelings and passions that I do. But of course, I'm still working on campus to increase environmental education there. I want to work with my environmental group to create a presentation to take into classes, because I know if I go to people, then they'll have to listen to me, whereas with my environmental club, sometimes it's hard to get people to come to me, so if I go to them, I think that'll be really helpful. Also next semester, we're planning an event. It's like an Iron Chef style event. We want to have it centered on sustainable food choices. So it's a fun event for anyone to watch or participate in, but it has the added benefit of teaching what sustainable food is, why it's important, and how students can make better food choices. Also in the spring, I'll be working with another student on campus to collect plastic water bottles to create a pop-up greenhouse, diverting those from the landfill. We'll be building it at the community garden, and we'll be working with local middle school students on the project. So throughout the month of October, I learned new ideas every day to green my life even further. Organic cotton was something which I knew about, but I didn't really buy it. It was just a habit not to. But that's not the case anymore. Every day I learned how to live greener in our society. But toward the end of the month, as I became more and more involved in completing the challenges, I realized being green is not good enough. Our society limits how green we can become if we only desire to live within the boundaries and parameters which we were born with and are accustomed to. I realized the larger meaning of these challenges is to reject the parameters in which our culture and society constrain us. Through Project Green Challenge, I learned I don't have to accept those societal parameters. I can change them rather than just trying to live a good life within them. I learned so much from Project Green Challenge, but the biggest thing for me was learning that the most important thing is to educate other people, and I knew that I could do better at this. There are so many opportunities to educate people in the community, at my school, and in the world, and I feel empowered because I know I can be part of making these changes a reality. I do have to be somewhat realistic though, because it's kind of hard on my campus. A lot of people have very limited environmental knowledge, so that can be kind of tough for me sometimes, but I can think back to the ripple effect, and my confidence is really greatly restored. Although my initial actions might be small, if I can get other people interested, one small action can amplify into something much larger, and I really saw that with the soap issue. Just putting that in my bathroom resulted in the newspaper interview, the TV interview, and thousands of people had access to those things, so that was really exciting for me to see. It's inspiring to think that something that I do can expand and grow, ultimately impacting many people. I'm excited to go forward from here and put my full energy into reaching out, taking part, educating others, and changing the world for the better. Thank you.